What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the GodFearing Podcast. I am your host, Robert V. Thank you all for tuning in again. As you guys can see from the thumbnail, there is this show called The Chosen that has gained so much traction over the years, that has impacted so many lives and so many people. And a lot of people have been asking, whether or not they should be watching this show. Based on some things that might be in scripture, some things that might not be, which I get what they're trying to say, but I just wanted to give this topic a discussion, and so y'all can see my perspective, my point of view on this show, and what I like, what I don't like, and if you should be watching it as a Christian. Should Christians be watching this, right? But first, before we go into that, I want to show you guys a video. It's a funny video about the show, and I'll just show you. So I'm gonna go ahead and go into the video really quick. So give me 1 second. And here we go. So this video is from The Chosen itself. And it goes based off the point of emphasis of why you shouldn't watch it, but it's made from the creators itself, which is kind of hilarious, which is kind of the whole point of it. So yeah, let me go click on it. All right, here we go.
Hello, class. Welcome to hell. Chalk here sounds like fingernails. The erasers sound like Nickelback. But you know what's even worse? This high-quality TV series about Jesus called The Chosen. Today's lecture, how do we discredit it? How do we shut it down? And most of all, how do we stop watching it?
I know, right?
Know the trick.
There's something below hell?
The DMV.
Aside from the superb acting and beautiful visuals, the worst part about The Chosen is that they depict Jesus and his followers as real people.
Gross.
People with a sense of humor.
One of the rooms is haunted by my dead grandmother.
Oh, I'll take that one. People who disagree with each other.
Oh, yes, great advice coming from someone who disappeared for 2 days.
How dare you?
Don't talk to her like that.
People who struggle with their faith.
I've tried. For a long time, I know. And you don't want false hope again, I understand. So they're showing them as real people. Big deal.
Big deal? Showing them as real people is the opposite of what I've been trying to do. Opposite.
Yo, El Diablo, how do we stop these people from watching it?
Well, so far, my most successful strategy has been making people's moms recommend it to them.
You should watch The Chosen, honey.
Sure, Mom.
Oh, Deborah. We could have made a great team. And as if The Chosen wasn't self-righteous enough already, Angel Studios made the app free, meaning that you could binge the first 2 seasons right now. But don't!
What about the old Bible videos where Jesus had an English accent?
Seriously. We had a good run up there with unrelatable Jesuses. Judgmental Jesus, British Jesus, rockstar Jesus, and this guy. But this Jesus with an actual personality is a real pain in my satanic butt. Here's the plan. Convince the public that watching The Chosen will feel more like a Sunday school video and less like the high-end streaming epic it actually is.
It's so good. In a bad way.
You could just sort of hop in there.
Yeah, no problem.
Another hindrance to our goal is its credibility. The Chosen series currently holds 100% on Rotten Tomatoes and 9.6 out of 10 on IMDb. That's higher than Breaking Bad, which is freaking bad for us.
The Chosen has over 250,000 5-star reviews.
Hey, y'all, check this out. Powerful without being preachy.
This one says, worth every minute of your time.
Worth every minute of your time. And now just watch this clip and tell me why it's awful.
You picked the wrong person.
I came to Samaria just to meet you.
I am rejected by others.
I know. But not by the Messiah.
Gosh, it's stupid.
I actually don't think it's stupid.
What?
It makes me want to be more like that Jesus guy.
Not again. So, what have we learned?
Do not download the Chosen app, even though Angel Studios made it free and super easy to access the Chosen. Go Satan!
I don't think this is a very convincing mantra.
All right, now turn to page 666. How to get more humans to use their speakerphone in public.
All right, so so you guys can see from the video that was if you guys didn't get the hint, right? Obviously, it's made that same clip was made from the studio, and just to make light and make fun of just have fun with it with the show. So of course there's not someone that's actually hating on it. Okay, so don't get it twisted. So yeah, I thought it was very funny, right? Because yeah, it's like kind of like a parody and stuff. But of course, like how you're saying, like oh, the show is high quality, but don't watch it, which I thought was hilarious. And so, The Chosen. So my thoughts. This show, I believe, is one of the best shows in TV ever made. Period. Okay. Period. I believe the quality of the show. I believe the acting in the show, the boldness of the show, the quality of the show, the historical context of the show, everything. The script is written very well. I believe is made very well. The director is a great director. The main actor who plays Jesus, Jonathan Rumi, I believe is a fantastic actor. And you may have seen him in other stuff, like he came out in the movie The Jesus Revolution. He's done a few other things besides that. But this show has also, in my opinion, is one of the best shows, right? Now, should Christians be watching it? I will wholeheartedly say that yes, this is something that Christians should be watching. And the reason for this is because, one, the director of the show is an evangelical Christian, right? So already the values align, right? Second, one of the most important points that they emphasize within the show is that, of course, when you watch the first episode, at the very beginning, the intro, he's Dallas Jenkins, or not Dallas Jenkins, but the clip at the beginning, right? There's a few words that are written on there that says, the show is taken from the account of the Gospels, but viewers should be encouraged to read the Gospels, right? Because some things are put in there that aren't in Scripture, right? That aren't in Scripture, right? So, which is I don't think it dishonors Scripture. I don't think it dishonors our faith. Nothing, man. It's just that's how it is. I believe it's made to be a TV show, right? So there's gonna be things that aren't in the Scripture, in terms of what we don't see in the Bible, right? So, because of that warning, you can see the attention to detail with that warning, the attention to detail with everything that just supplements the show. And the next point of emphasis that I want to put is the show really, really goes well in showing Christians who Jesus was, or is, right? Because it gives Jesus a personality. It gives Jesus a sense of humor, him to be able to laugh at himself, things like that. That makes him human. That makes us human, right? And because of that, it shows really a side to him that sometimes, even as viewers, we tend to really put him in a, which obviously he is, right? But he was also a person like us. He was a person like us, person like you and me, right? He laughed, God created laughter for us to laugh. You know what I mean? Like, that should not be unheard of if Jesus like laughs or makes a joke or, things like that would make him different. No, Jesus was human. He was human. Obviously, he was different from all of us, but he was human, right? He was human. He had all the qualities of a human. He had all the traits of a human, the characteristics, right? And because the show presents himself in such a great way, I believe that it will also allow viewers and people to have a sense in their mind of who Jesus was, right? So that when you read the scriptures, it kind of brings it to life, right? Which I think was one of the best points in the entire show, where it brings not just Jesus, but it brings all the disciples, brings people like Mother Mary, it brings people like like Pontius Pilate. It brings people like, just even characters that aren't in the scripture that we know of for sure, but it brings them to life as well, which conveys to the story, which makes up for a great show. Now, of course, we're gonna point to it, right? It is a show, okay? You should not be watching this show to replace your scripture. No, okay? That's one thing I want to add. You shouldn't do that. Because obviously the scriptures are true, and of course the show is a show. It's not always going to be 100% to where the Gospels is, because it adds scenes, it adds details and things like that aren't in the scripture, because it adds to the story, right? That's the story. At the end of the day, that's what it is. And because of it, we must never think that I'm not going to read my Bible because I'm going to watch the show. No. Cut it out. Don't do that, okay? Don't do that. But it does help us to give us that, it's kind of like a supplement, right? It adds to it, right? It adds to how we can envision, these people in the Bible as real people, not just people that we read about, you know what I mean? People that we read about in the scripture, but it brings it to life, which I think is very, very important for a lot of people, period, to actually be able to visualize that and see that, with Jesus and with other different types of characters in the Bible. And even the show, they don't just go over Jesus, right? But they go over they even do some Old Testament stuff about King David, Moses, Joshua, things like that, right? So, of course, that's what makes it special, right? Because you can see it. And one of the things that I really want to say is there have been Jesus shows, Bible shows, things like that, right? Bible movies, things like that. But this show, the quality of it, guys, the amazing direction that it goes from with the director, Dallas Jenkins, is amazing. Why? Because it's not cheesy. You know what I mean? Like, how many times have we seen Christian movies and things like that just be cheesy, be preachy, be, things like that. And the show does a very good job of balancing it all out, for people not to feel that they're just being preached at, right? It just gives you details of Jesus' life, who he was, things like that, right? Which I think is very important to the show, right? And when I highlight in bringing these things to life, I want to show you guys a clip from the show that is in the Gospels. This clip is directly in the Gospels, and it goes over the man in the pool of Bethesda who had lain there for 38 years, right? And the show covers that, and you're gonna see how it brings that to life, right? Of course, it adds some dialogue and stuff like that is in the scripture, but because of it, we can see, right? So here we go.
Shalom.
Me?
Yes.
Shalom.
I have a question for you.
For me. I don't have many answers, but I'm listening.
Do you want to be healed?
Who are you?
We'll get to that later. But my question remains.
Will you take me to the water? Look, I'm having a really bad day.
You've been having a bad day for a long time. So?
Sir, I have no one to help me into the water when it's stirred up. And when I do get close, the others step down in front of me. And so...
Look at me. Look at me. That's not what I asked. I'm not asking you about who's helping you, or who's not helping, or who's getting in your way. I'm asking about you.
I've tried.
a long time, I know. And you don't want false hope again, I understand. But this pool, it has nothing for you. It means nothing. And you know it. But you're still here. Why?
I don't know.
You don't need this pool. You only need me. So, do you want to be healed? So let's go. Get up, pick up your mat, and walk. I'm free to walk, like he said. Don't forget your bed.
Why does this matter?
Because you're not coming back here. That life is over. Everything changes now.
You see how that little piece of scripture became an even bigger, broad range of just, visualization and stuff that we can analyze and see the pool, see the Pharisees, see the disciples, see Jesus, see the man, all of it. And the show is pretty cool, but they give actually like a little backstory of the man who's paralyzed and the brother and stuff like that. It's awesome, guys. It's awesome. So I would say, watch the show, man. Watch the show. And so one thing I also want to add is when I started coming back to my faith and I started to, come back to Jesus, right? This really helped. Right? Because it made me think of Jesus and who he was personally. Like, it didn't just make me think of him as, this unreachable figure, right? But it came to be a reachable figure, And that's why I love the show, because I was able to really see it within the scriptures, obviously, but also within the show, because I could see it all come to life in a way, right? And like I said, it's not a replacement for scripture, but it's also something that could supplement, if you're struggling with your faith, if you need a boost, if you want to help a family member show, many people, you'd be surprised, they won't come to church with you, but if you tell them, hey, you want to watch the show with me? You know what I mean? More than likely people will say yeah, and that could be an open door, and it could open it to people where they could come to Christ, which is why I think a show like this is very important to us, and a good quality show too. Good quality show that could really help us to understand, the entire story, right? The entire story, and see it, which I think is amazing, because the show does a really good job in general of just everything, really. And of course, like I said, even people that are atheists, as much as atheists can be, right? You can tell them, hey, come watch the show with me, and or you want to sit down, let's chill, let's watch this, little things like that can go a long way, man. It can go a long way. That's why I believe a show like this is very important. A movie, that could be made like this is very important, because it just gives people that visualization. It gives people a better understanding. It gives people something to see, something that you and I could see, right? And of course, it shows the Jewishness of it. It shows the historical perspective. It shows a bunch of stuff in that show. Who people were back in the day, the Romans, bunch of stuff. That it keeps a lot to the Jewish tradition, which obviously Jesus was Jewish, right? So it should, right? which is awesome. And the joke, the show actually has some humor in it, which I love because sometimes it's funny, which everyone can get behind that, right? So yeah, get behind that. So if you guys want to check it out, guys, like I said, should you watch The Chosen? Yes, you should. Yes, you should. I firmly believe that this show has. Excuse me. I firmly believe that this show is impacting a lot of lives, a lot of people. I believe it's reached. I think the goal for the entire show is to reach 1 billion people, and I believe it's reached over 500 million or something like that. So if you want to check out the show, it is in. You can watch it on your phone. It's completely free, guys. It's for free. You do not have to pay a single dime for this show. Okay, on your phone, on your laptop, or pretty much anywhere you watch, you can download the Angel Studios app, and you can watch it for free. You can literally just type in Angel Studios, and then, boom, the show or not the show, but the app will show up, and then the studio will pop up, and you can watch the show for free. Okay, this is the same studio that made The Sound of Freedom. So if you haven't heard of The Sound of Freedom, go watch The Sound of Freedom 2. But The Sound of Freedom is on there. There's a few other movies on there, a few other shows and stuff, even for kids and stuff. But the emphasis is obviously on The Chosen. So go watch it. There's three seasons out that are coming out. They're currently filming the 4th season, which is awesome. But it gives a bunch of stuff about even Jesus walking on water, which I think is awesome. So go check it out, guys. If you can, you can also pay it forward, I believe, which is you can give them money and donate and stuff like that, because that's how they did it, right? The Chosen has a whole story of how it's not funded by a Hollywood studio or anything like that, but Angel Studios, right? And because people decided to pay it forward, people donated it, and they were able to reach $10 million in their first season. And now it's even bigger now. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's even bigger now, right? So go check it out, guys. Do yourself a favor, watch the show. Watch it with your kids, watch it with your families, watch it with your spouses. Watch it by yourself, whatever. Watch it, enjoy it, and know that yes, it's not everything is 100%, word by word in the scripture, but it shows us, people, it shows us lives, it shows us history, it shows us Jewish tradition, it shows us a bunch of stuff, it shows us humor, bunch of stuff that really brings Jesus to life, that brings the characters to life, that brings the disciples and people and places to life, that otherwise you wouldn't see, right? Because you're just reading. But of course, like I said earlier, it doesn't replace scripture. Don't get it twisted, okay? Don't go watching the show thinking that you're going to watch it instead of reading your word. Don't be doing that. Okay? But of course, watch it, enjoy it, have fun. Tell people about it. Tell people about the show. Tell them what it is. Explain to them, things like that. That could help others. And who knows, man? It could help people. It could help people like me, people like you, bring themselves to be closer to Christ, and not just themselves, but their family members, their friends, their coworkers, anyone. Anyone. So go watch the show, guys. I really recommend it. Like I said, you find it on the Angel Studios app. I really recommend it, and I can't say enough good things about this show that I think are very, very important for us to see, especially in this day and age, who Jesus was, because there's a lot of confusion on who he was, right? Which there shouldn't be, but there is. And yeah, so go watch it, have fun. There's going to be 7 seasons, I believe, leading all the way to the crucifixion. So, it's covering the entire ministry, so it's pretty cool. Okay. And of course, are there flaws in the show? Yeah, of course. Like any show, right? There's some, things I don't like, right? There's some little things like that, But I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It really isn't. It really isn't. When you get down, you start nitpicking down to the nitty gritty. It's like you're just being a little petty, so to speak, But yeah, guys, go watch the show, have fun, enjoy it, and yeah, should you watch it? Should Christians watch it? 100%. I believe anybody should watch it. Anybody should watch it. Even if you're not a believer, I just think the show is actually just good in quality. You know what I mean? Like if you don't believe at all, you should still watch the show just because I think it's a good show. That enough should tell you that you should just watch the show anyways. So of course, don't get it twisted, right? Read your word first. but watch the show too. It'll be a lot of there's a lot of good things that you can see in the show that are better than the crap that people put out now with a bunch of shows and movies, you know. And I believe this is a good light in this spectrum of, you know, TV, movies, and stuff like that. Okay, but all right. So guys, with that being said, thank you for watching again. Thank you for tuning into the God-Fearing Podcast. I am your host, Robert V. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.